day, folks. It's Tourism Tim Warren here with another exciting episode of Tourism Marketing TV. And for you listening on my podcast, Travel Business Success Radio Podcast. If you are a tour operator, a destination or a lodge, hotelier, and you have been approached by someone who's a travel blogger or a vlogger or someone that's this social media influencer, and they're wanting to see if they can come on your trip or do some sort of exchange, and you're just not sure how to handle it, if it's right for you, are these people credible? Well, you are in luck today, because today I have on one of the world's top one of the top bloggers and travel influencers in the world, Derek Barron, who goes by the name of his website is Wandering Earl, and we're going to talk and dig into these topics and help you be more successful and really create a win-win relationship, both for the blogger as well as the tourism professional. Good day, Derek.
All right, how's it going?
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate, I'm glad that I was able to catch you in your global travels, because you are all over the place all the time, and we were able to create a little space, and so I'm honored to have you on the show. Why don't you just start off by giving our listeners and viewers just a quick snapshot of kind of your amazing life. I think it was 19 years and growing in as a professional world traveler.
Yeah, basically after I graduated university in 1999, my idea was to be a sports agent. That's what I had studied. And I decided before I got in my career, I was going to take a short 3-month trip to Southeast Asia just to see a little bit of the world. And incredibly, that trip has basically never ended. And I'm still on that trip. It turned into a variety of random jobs in the beginning just to keep me going. And I taught English for a little bit. I worked on cruise ships. And then around 2009, I started blogging. And that became my full-time business. And it grew into all kinds of things. It eventually in 2012 led to a tour company. So I now have a tour company that offers small group trips around the world. And that is now, I'm still traveling nonstop. It has been 19 years of nonstop travel around the world. And my blog and my tour business is exactly what I focus on every day and keeps me going.
Fantastic. You and I had the opportunity to meet, I don't know, maybe it was a year and a half ago online. And one of my clients, Lost Campers Camper Vans, has these really cool stealth camper vans. And you were interested in doing some traveling around California. And so that's how we met, folks, was actually doing what we're going to talk about today. And it was a lot of fun working with you. And I enjoyed the exchange, and it looked like you had a good time too. So it really felt like a win-win.
Great experience.
Yeah, it's so we're going to come at this, folks, from 3 different perspectives. And let me just look at my notes for a second. I want to look at this from the tour operators, the travel, the destination, the stakeholder in tourism. I want to look at it from their perspective. But also, there's a lot of people who are going to listen and watch this that are existing or want to be bloggers and vloggers and influencers. And I think that they're going to learn from it from your perspective of what you're looking for. And third, I know that having worked in tourism for almost 25 years and have worked with a lot of mainstream media companies and done a lot of media trips, they don't always go well, and things don't always pan out like you wanted to on both sides. So we're gonna look a little bit at that. But before we jump into that, Derek, just so people have an idea, just your level of influence, which really captured my attention when we first started working together. How many followers do you have on the various social media approximately today?
That's a great question. I think on social media, I have somewhere in the maybe 80, 90,000 range. I have about 250,000 visitors to my blog every month, and about 21,000 people on my subscriber list on my newsletter. And so it does a pretty good reach.
I would say so. It caught my attention, and that was one of the reasons I responded to you very quickly, because I know representing tour operators, and we get a lot of inquiries all the time, and frankly, many of them I ignore. But we're going to talk about that because they don't have that influence. So, from the perspective of the tour operator, and when you're approaching someone, and I know that you have to sell them on you. So what do you think are some of the top things that a tourism stakeholder should be looking for from someone like yourself in order to create that win-win relationship?
Sure. I mean, the first thing like you mentioned, is to have the numbers. You need to have some numbers. There needs to be a decent audience size that exists. With that said, you do have to do a little bit more work than just looking at the numbers, because actually it's all about loyalty and having an engaged audience. I think that's actually the most important aspect. So it's not necessarily about having 1 million followers. It's more about, you can have 50,000 followers, but look at the interaction between the influencer and those followers. Is it really a genuine interaction? Does it look like those followers are paying close attention, are actually not just writing, "Oh, I love the post," in the comment sections on the blog or on social media? Are they actually asking questions and trying to learn more from the blogger, or saying, "Oh, I loved your advice. I followed it and I did this and it was great." You kind of have to dig a little deeper, because again, obviously it would be great to have somebody with 1 million loyal followers, but there's not so many sites where you're going to find that. And so again, you need to look for some numbers, but then the way that communication is taking place. And I think that's the first thing that needs to be looked at to determine if it would be a good partnership. The other thing that I would say is, when you communicate with it doesn't hurt to just send an initial email out to a potential influencer. And while the tour operator, the destination, the business, they should obviously have a clear goal, a clear understanding of what they're trying to achieve by working with an influencer. But it's the influencer that knows their audience best. So they should be able to come right back with a very detailed strategy or a list of what would work best with their audience to achieve those goals. If they don't really know how to achieve what you're looking for, it might be a sign that the deal wouldn't be very worthwhile for you. You definitely want an influencer who knows what makes their audience tick, exactly how to reach them, and that just has that understanding, or else it could be a lot of wasted time.
A really good point around the loyalty and engagement. It kind of reminds me of something that in the tourism marketing world I've been preaching for a long time. A lot of people think that, wow, if I just had more traffic to my website, I would certainly book more trips. Right. But it's an illusion. I mean, it's really all about, in that world, sales conversion, leads and bookings. And I think that loyalty and engagement is key. Is there any cool online tools that someone could use to measure the degree of an engagement that an influencer might have?
That's a little bit tricky. So you can dig a little bit into, say, Facebook. Facebook's kind of tools, you can look, and for example, you can go and look at a page and see the demographics, and you can learn all about the kind of people that follow various Facebook pages. So if the influencer does have a page, you can type in their page, and it will give you a pretty good indication of the demographics of those people. As for the actual reach, it takes some searching, but you can find how many people certain posts reach. They're generally estimates. You don't get the same data that the actual influencer would have of their own page, obviously, but you can find, it's a little bit hidden in Facebook, but you can find general reach and the general interaction with various posts that influencer has. The other good tool, you can go also on Google Analytics, and you can type in various websites, see what keywords they're ranking for, see if those keywords actually come up when you do the searches, and see what kind of content has been written about those keywords. So you can it does take some time, but at the end of the day, you want to spend time doing this research, because you really want to make sure that any money or time or effort that you're going to put into a potential partnership is definitely going to pay off. So it's well worth, and I think that's one of the big mistakes that happens is they just think, oh, look at this influencer, they have 50,000 followers, great, oh, they write some good posts, it looks like everyone likes it, perfect, done, and make a deal, and they don't get much out of it. And I think that's part of it. You really want to take some time to dig a little deeper. So Facebook is probably the best in order to just get an idea behind the scenes of the actual reach and of the demographics, which is quite important too, because you want to make sure the demographics obviously fit what your goals are too as a company or destination.
Mm-hmm. Now, those are really good points about the Facebook, and that makes a lot of sense. And the demographics. And it's been a while since we did our deal. Gosh, it's probably about a year and a half. I forget. Yeah. I forget. And but do you have a kind of a fact sheet that you put together and put out to would-be partners, as far as when you wanted to do an exchange of some sort?
So I do have a fact sheet that kind of is just so I have all my data in one place. I do tailor it to the particular. So somebody writes to me and says, oh, we're a so-and-so kind of a destination or a so-and-so kind of a company, and we're looking for this. I kind of pull from that sheet and create immediately. It's kind of some ideas based on those numbers of what would, work best, how to reach those particular people. So I do that just to keep. And there's nothing wrong with asking an influencer for their numbers either. I mean, that's something, you can ask, oh, you have a subscriber list. Can I see some people even ask for a screenshot of the page that shows it, that shows how many subscribers they have. You can ask and if they're telling the truth, they should have no problem in giving you the actual numbers of the proof to back it up. So, I mean, that's also one way to do it too. One of the other things that I would bring up is also, again, to go back to that communication. It's very important to pay attention to how the influencer is communicating with you, because you can very easily tell, do they really have does it seem like they have an idea of what they're talking about, or are they just kind of putting this together all hodgepodge and kind of just pulling random numbers or coming up with some ideas that don't make sense? And this kind of also gives an indication as to, their actual reach and how well they can influence the people that do follow them if they really are confident in ways to do it. So I think, that's some of the things. Send a few emails back and forth and just get to know the influencer, chat a little bit, try to schedule a phone call. And I think just through those conversations, you can kind of get an idea of how well they reach. You can even read their content, read the blog posts, read their social media posts. Does it sound like the voice of an influencer? How they present the material? Or does it seem like someone that's just trying to put together some occasional low quality, say, sales pitches to people that aren't really paying attention? You can kind of get an idea if you just really read through it. But again, it takes time, but it's time to spend a week going through somebody's information to potentially get a really beneficial partnership is well worth it.
Wise words, Derek. Because for many people and many trips that I've worked with, we're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of a potential exchange, and you really want to make sure it's worth doing the due diligence.
For sure.
One of the things that caught my attention, in addition to your social media numbers, which are impressive, the other thing that caught my eye as an operator was the fact that you were building an email list. You did have a big growing list, and you were active in reaching out to it again. So you had numbers, you had another channel outside of social media, and you had loyal and engaged customers that you were continually bringing back into your amazing blog, your trips, your resources, and now your tour operation. So I was really impressed. And having worked with a lot of professional journalists, it was very professional, and so it really caught my attention. So my advice to anybody listening and watching this is what Derek said is so key. Do your due diligence, and you're right. You can tell a lot by how does someone respond to something or not.
Yeah, for sure. And you can really, again, just one other thing I was going to mention with my own tours, just to give you an idea, when I started the tours, I didn't have a huge audience, and the tours have actually worked because of that loyalty. So it really, that is the key, is to find these influencers that have that loyalty, because my whole tour operation now is based on a few people that were very loyal in the beginning that went on my first tour and told their friends and family, and then those people came on the next tour and then told their next friends and family. And as much as that might seem like a very slow and inefficient way to grow a business, only 5 years later, I now have a good sized tour operation that runs a good 15 to 20 tours a year, and it does work. So again, you're looking for those kind of people that have that kind of loyalty to work with.